Tell me, who is Nimsdai?
My name is Nimsdai Purja. I was born in a very humbling family in Nepal. I was raised in the Brigade of Gurkhas and I was made in United Kingdom's Special Forces SBS. So yeah, that's my intro.
Tell me some of the things that you have achieved.
I came with this idea, a ground record-breaking evolution, to climb all the 14 highest mountains of the world in 6 months. And the previous record was nearly 8 years. In layman's terms, if the world record for, let's say, marathon is 2 hours, I'm going to do that in 20 minutes.
There's the physical elements, nutrition, the weather, but actually the risks that you take as an entrepreneur.
Okay, nobody believed this project. People don't know who Nimsdai is. I was undercover, I was in SBS. So I was like, as soon as I start climbing the mountain in the manner and in the style that I say I will do it, I think people will start putting the money. So I had to just, that's why I sold my house empty savings, and it started the first boom. We started climbing Annapurna, did the rescues. When your purpose is bigger than yourself, you always achieve the impossible. So I think that's the key takeaway from this.
What is it you are saying? What can you do when someone is physically fatigued, when someone is collapsing, that you can get them through it? Nimsdai.
Yes, yes.
I've been so looking forward to this conversation. You're a hard man to pin down.
Yeah. Been all over the world. Literally came from Antarctica, so yeah.
I know. I know. I think it's probably taken a year to be able to know that you're not up the top of a mountain somewhere. To be able to, so I feel super privileged. Tell me, who is Nimsdai?
I think despite all the achievement and everything that I have achieved, and when people ask me, who are you? And my answer is very simple, My name is Nimsdai Purja. I was born in a very humbling family in Nepal. I was raised in the Brigade of Gurkhas, and I was made in United Kingdom's Special Forces SBS. So yeah, that's my intro.
Love that. You mentioned the word achievement there. Tell me some of the things that you have achieved.
In terms of achievement, I came with this idea, which is a ground record-breaking evolution, to climb all the 14 highest mountains of the world in 6 months. And the previous record was nearly 8 years. So what I was saying in layman's term for people who doesn't understand mountaineering is, if the world record for, let's say, marathon is 2 hours, I'm going to do that in 20 minutes. So that's why nobody believed in. So yeah, that's one of them. And of course, I led the first winter ascent of K2. K2 was the only mountain that was never climbed in winter, and it was the only last remaining, the final great challenge in the mountaineering feat. So I led the whole expedition where 10 Nepalese climbed together. And in terms of record breaking, of course, I have the fastest ascent of all 8,000-meter peak without oxygen. That's what people criticize for me. Say, oh yeah, he did 14 peaks but with oxygen. So I just have to do something for that, and then I did that while I was guiding and leading the expedition. So because if I have to really go for the full-on record, I think I can do all 14 in maybe 3 months without oxygen as well. And in order to back up what I'm saying, I had climbed all the 5 8,000-meter peak of Pakistan, like K2, Nanga Parbat, G1, G2, Broad Peak, while I'm leading the expedition from the front, while I'm guiding. That means it's harder, you're looking after the clients and all that. And I achieved that in 26 days without oxygen. So I'm not just bluffing.
There's no bluffing.
Yeah. And then here we are,
Yeah. My
yeah.
journey to learning about you was the 14 Peaks, which came on a blockbuster onto Netflix. Watched it with my family.
Yeah.
And just thought, wow. But I think what was so remarkable about it wasn't just the achievement, it was the fact that it represented so much more than just you. It was an incredible achievement, but it showcased and highlighted how talented, how hardworking, how resilient the Nepalese Sherpas are, that often accompany a Western climber that gets to the top and takes the glory.
Yeah.
And you really reverse that to say, hey, firstly, in a very non-egotistic way, look what I can do, and these are my people. I really felt that from that documentary.
Yeah, it was much needed, because we always have been on the shadow, and the brutal reality is whatever the Western media says, even if it's not the truth, that becomes the truth. And out of everything, I would say 90% of the people who have achieved everything on the mountaineering has taken the support of the Nepalese climbing community. But and also I understand, of course, they cannot say in every time where they go, I was supported by this and that. Every time we needed our own voice. So I wanted to change that, and in order to change that, if you do something small or nif-naf or break one record, it's not the highlighted event. So I had to come with something that no one ever could even imagine. It's like saying, okay, the world record for marathon is 2 hours. I'm going to do that in 20 minutes. So it has to be a mind-boggling evolution. So, and for me, this project was not about myself. So hence bigger. Why I was able to give up the most prestigious career for me, which is my UK Special Forces career. I had to give up my full pension. That's what we as a Gurkhas work throughout the whole life for, full pension. That's the goal. So I kind of give up my goal and financial securities, and also I emptied all my savings literally, and even remortgaged my house and left only 9 or 10 grand in the house, and emptied everything into the project. So I think the difference here is everybody can talk and say, but talking is one thing and doing actually is something. So my biggest step to this success, which later on became success, is the commitment. So I committed everything, because I had the bigger purpose that was not about me. And I keep saying to, even when we're arguing at the house with my brother who sent me to school, he's like my father, I owe him so much, and I had to go against them and everybody else. They said, Nims, why? Why? If you are the main person in this family who is looking after the whole of the financial part, you sending money to the parents, mom and dad, that means
there's risk
there's a lot, and also the emotional bit associated as well, from the family. So I always believe that this project was bigger than myself, my family, and everybody else. So when your purpose is bigger than yourself, you always achieve the impossible. So I think that's the key takeaway from this.
There's so much there. I mean, achieving the impossible, that mindset, the risks that you've taken, not just, you see, for me, the risks are very obvious and evident up the mountain.
Yeah.
There's the physical elements, nutrition, the weather, and the whole kind of risks that something could happen to you there. But actually the risks that you take as an entrepreneur, walking away from the pension. And I imagine, without knowing this, but I assume that these Western climbers were either affluent enough to afford to do it themselves or had a community around them that funded them to do it. You had to come in completely differently, take these risks, and you smashed the record. Like your analogy of 20 minutes against 8 hours, it's compelling.
Yeah, and like I must say that it's good and people to see the success, but the hardest part is giving up a good possible future that's been you can literally take away. For example, so when I put my chit in to leave the SAS, which is tier 1 unit, they invited me. I went to Hereford in the headquarters, and the command level said, okay, Nims, look, you have no sponsorship, which is £1 million. You don't have any secure pensions if you leave that, if you leave pool and out of the military. Your wife will not get anything, or your family will not get anything if you die on the mountain, which is almost a lot of chances is there. Look, we will give you 3 rank up promotion. And I was never promoted in pool, and it hurts me. It's okay. We will give you 3 rank up promotion. Not only that, we'll send you to go and do this mountaineering course where you become pretty much a guide. So you go and do this course in Germany for 2 years. So that's what I really want. That's like, it touched me. And then after that, you will come and you will lead the mountain cell in Hereford. That's, for me, I think no one had ever offered me this kind of thing during my whole military career. And I knew that I would probably the most decorated soldier in the planet, being able to, the first Gurkha to serve in SBS, then go into the Hereford, lead their mountain troop. And not only that, there's a huge amount of support backing. I don't need to resign. But for me, when there's a tough decision-making evolution, I always go back to basis. And the Gurkhas are known for loyalty. I repeat, for loyalty and bravery. For me, if I can add any value to that name, I must. But I have no right to even let anybody question that name or that brand or who we are. We're known as most the fearful, loyal, and bravest soldier in the planet, right? So I said to them, thank you so much. No one had ever offered me like this, and I'm actually, it gets me so much into my heart. But look, the brand Gurkhas, everything, our reputation is not created by me. God knows how many people died, for this name. So many wives have to kind of live as a widow. So many children, lost their father in First World War, Second World War, everything. So no, I can't, And I said to them, yes, you all probably like me, but there might be another guy who doesn't probably like me, who probably have an S. And they will say, yeah, look at Nims, he's a Gurkha. We throw a bit of bread on the floor and he's just coming and there is no loyalty. Somebody might say that, and I have no rights to give anybody a doubt on that element. So I remember. So I rejected that offer, and I was driving on the car, and they invited me again. We discussed exactly same thing again. I think probably they were more impressed with what my core principle and ethos and values were. So, and my answer was same. And I again, when I drove outside the Hereford camp, I was crying, because for me as a personal, this was the best offer I could have in the planet. But as a wider perspective, I felt that wasn't up to me to give anybody an opportunity to raise a fingers or point a finger towards Gurkhas, saying that okay, they are not loyal, they are not this, that, and all that. So yeah, so so I believe in those kind of stuff, and I think because of all those strong values and principle, I'm who I am today. But it was hard. It was hard.
I bet it was. I mean, there must have been some validation to be made that offer, but it was also probably very empowering for you to keep control of what is your values. And I would love to bring your wife into this conversation.
Okay, one thing, before that. So I came that, and the hardest thing people need to know who are going into this challenge is the fundraising part. Okay, so I came out, announced the project, then you would meet hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, who said they will help you in words only. And then when it actually comes to putting the money and all that, there was no one. And I felt like, I hit the brick wall. And it was the most demoralizing time of my whole, I think, my life, I would say.
And coming from you, someone who's so capable.
It was like, oh my God, and now I have jeopardized my career. I didn't say yes to, Hereford, and now I'm here. No one is putting the money and all that. And it's still, but I had this belief. The belief was like, okay, nobody believed this project. People don't know who Nimsdai is, like, because I had no Facebook, no social media, no Instagram, all this. I had no, so I was undercover. I was in SBS. So I was like, as soon as I start climbing the mountain in the manner and in the style that I say I will do it, I think people will start putting the money. So I had to just, that's why I sold my house, empty savings, and it started the first boom. We started climbing Annapurna, did the rescues, a lot there, and then that's when people start coming in. Like, for example, people give up on Annapurna, like, some of the guys who were there, they have tried 7 times, and then even fixing the new lines on the Dodge rib. And then when people were giving, I was just saying, giving up is not blood. That on the 14 pics, I was just saying, like, I just got the camera out. I need to record this because to self-motivate me. So I just, what, giving up is not in the blood, sir. So, and fixing. Then we came into the base camp after the summit, and we're supposed to go to Dhaulagiri, which is our next mountain. But then I got the rescue call from somebody who is alive, just below the summit. So I was like, okay, what I do now? Do I go and continue my mission, for which I have literally put everything on the line, or Do you want to be this wise man and be strategic guy, or do you want to leave everything behind and go and rescue this guy? And you're probably going to miss the weather window on the Dhaulagiri, and you probably fail your mission. And I was like, well, again, go back to basics, Nims. When you're in the Gurkhas, when you're in war in all those places around the world, when you're in special forces, you never left anyone behind. So why in this peacetime? There's no one shooting at you. Yeah, so that's when I said, okay, we go up again. So went and did the rescue and all that. So you need to have core values and principle inside you. It needs to be ingrained in you to bigger things, because this is all about the energy, because a good energy, a good spirit, a good soul attracts good things. Yes, Dhaulagiri was brutal for me to climb. It was really hard, the hardest weather window. We could not even see. I had to navigate from my Sherpas or Nims. How can we go up and how can we come down? We cannot literally say. And I said, guys, I'm a tier 1 UK Special Forces. Nav is in my bag. I'll get you all. And like that level of confidence and kind of leading from the front, pulling the path, giving the team confidence that doesn't matter even if you cannot see here, it is my job to take you up and bring you down. Let's work, So, and it worked, yeah.
You have an incredible track record, which could be attributed with success. I want to know if you've ever had to kind of abandon or turn around if something's gone wrong.
Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, Nims is a full-on aggressive climber. He always care about his track record, 100% success rate and all that. And guys, look, I have been able to do that with a full-on responsibility, and as I said, that comes from huge amount of experience in the mountain, plus being as a special forces kind of mindset and the way we meticulously plan the expedition. But to answer the question, yes, I have turned around once. Okay, so we were on G2, Gasherbrum 2 in Pakistan, and I was part of the fixing team, and we are pushing on this mountain, and this is one of my final mountain in hat-trick project. So as we're fixing the lines, at first it just went hump, and I kind of ignore that. That's like that's the noise triggering to create an avalanche. Okay, I was like, okay, maybe we go and see. So at that point, we're opening the route a bit diagonal. So I said to the team, guys, stop. So I went at the front and I start opening 90 degree, because if you open the reverse way, because you create the avalanche. So now I changed the tag. I went straight up. I was like, then there's a hoop, and and I can see the crack of the snow. I have never been scared in my life. My legs were literally shivering, because now and there's everybody, including the Qatari princess, who's my VVIP clients, to everybody from other teams are following me, and I was like, oh my God, if I make the wrong decision, all these people are gonna die, including myself. So that's when I said, guys, turn around. This is the point where we're gonna have to say another time. So this is the only time I have given up, because it's not about me. And for me, look, I could have said, okay, in order to just do my track record, the guys come and I just probably go alone and summit. But it's not about that. I try to, of course, people need to be honest. People say, when a lot of people these days say, oh, it's not about the summit, it's about the journey. I think that's, because if that is your thing, then why don't you say, oh, I'm just going to climb to Everest up to Camp 3, because it's about the journey. Why don't you say, I'm just going to Camp 4 about the, don't say that, It's about both success and safety in parallel. It goes hand in hand. So I care about that. So hence why I got 99.9% of success and safety record.
I love the fact you articulated that.
It's important that. And
there's a fearlessness that can go with the association with you, but without the recklessness and the fact that you just said your legs were shaking. This is Nimsdai, right? Legs shaking. So you knew that was a terrifying moment.
Yeah.
And it puts everyone in danger. Yeah. And the right decision is to
go down. Yes.
I mentioned the word success.
Yes.
What is Nimsdai's definition of success?
Jesus, well, I have no clue at the moment.
For someone that's achieved so much, how humbling that is. I love that.
Yeah, I don't know.
World records, all these accolades.
I will figure out as I get old, I think. But yeah, at the moment.
You can tell me over a drink later. We both know that any one time you could practically run up the mountain compared to someone you're taking up as a client you're climbing with. And you help get them up that mountain. And there's something you're saying, and you're looking with that self-awareness to help. So what is it you are saying, and what can you do when someone is physically fatiguing, when someone is collapsing, that you can get them through it?
I was on Everest, and I was at the south summit, which is 8,700 meters. Then there was a climb at the balcony, which is 8,450 meters. Just to put people into perspective, it normally takes up to maybe 6 hours to get from balcony to the south summit. Okay, so I was at the south summit, and then the radio got in, and this guy, his name is Dan, he's coming tomorrow, by the way. So he said, Nims, I'm maxed out, buddy, I cannot do this anymore. I'm gonna turn around, and my Sherpa is also like confident that I can do it. I'm gonna turn around. And I tried to talk to him on the radio, bro, you can do it. You have the best team in the world. I can literally, if anything happens, there's no one on this mountain. We can literally carry you and take you down. So you can do it on the radio. Tries again. He said, Nims, no, I cannot do it. I said, okay, hang on there half an hour. Boom, I run down the mountain, got him in half an hour at the balcony. Okay, give him the water. So you can do it. I'm coming here to get you. So then we went up, bam, bam, bam. We started overtaking, and we literally reached the summit pretty much 2-3 minutes behind the main group. That's what I do.
What did you say? What are you saying?
I was with him. I just said, look, you need to, when people see it, they need to believe in that leadership. And many people don't believe that. A lot of people think that, because it's a mind. The mind plays a big role in this. Insecurities, fear of dying and all that. You need to give that confidence. And when people see that, of course, they're going to push, because when I keep saying, when you think you're fully only, 40%.
You have to push through that to find out.
To find out. But you need to have the safety aspect, because some people might do that, and when they don't have the right guides and right, so that's when they die. Yeah. But that's why, having the key subject matter expert, a person who can not only talk but can action, can perform. You could be the biggest knowledge in the high altitude mountain, but that's nothing. You need to have both strength, knowledge, and everything.
God, when you get into, you must be so inspiring to be around. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You've summited. You've been at the top of the world, literally. Yeah. What is the best for you?
What is the best view? Oh, I think for me, if I remember the best view, I don't really have a best view. I think, okay, I'll tell you this story. So, K2 winter, yeah. So we're not going to go into the details, but we stopped short before the summit. We got everybody together, and then we said, okay, now we're going to walk to the summit together, sharing the equal glory, equal success, and equal happiness. And we walk together, right? And I remember I feel the power of this energy where you cannot experience ever, because everybody felt the same. Everybody had the same energy. There is no sadness, no bitterness that somebody has been the first guy. It was everybody getting the same credit, So that was the most happiest moment for me. You can feel the whole energy of the mountain, the guys, everything. And yeah, so I think that's what I can remember about the best summit.
That was all about the camaraderie and the feeling rather than the view. I love that. First time you did it must have been unbelievable, eclectic.
Yeah, okay.
Have you had that? Has it diluted over time, or is there something special about each time you've done it?
That I have summited Everest 9 times, 50 to 8,000 meter summits. So every time other than the first summit, I think you don't even realize, because you are so worried about, okay, I'm going to go there, take a picture, and I need to be down for safety, otherwise I'm going to die. First is like that, because every guide, every people on the mountain say that as soon as you eat into the summit, you have to go down. And you don't have the experience, you don't have the true ability or sense of what your strength and weakness are. So I didn't really kind of know. But my second was when I kind of fixed the lines, when the official fixing team gave up, and this was the Everest expedition of the British Army Gurkha expedition. So this year, the official team couldn't set the lines, and the British Army expeditions, and we are the Gurkhas, we are the best. And I didn't want it to come to UK, and they said, my friends saying, "Oh, Nims, you couldn't even climb the mountain in your back garden, stuff going off." And I was like, "Oh, that's a reputational, alarm." So when everybody gave up, I stood up and I said, "Okay, I'm going to fix the line." So, and that summit was beautiful because at this point I was very experienced. I had the knowledge and all. We fixed the lines not only for my team, but rest of the season's mountaineer. And it was a beautiful day. Everything was below, and to be able to enable the whole of the Gurkha expedition to put the first serving soldier on the top of the wall, and with so much confidence, passion, and strength. Oh, the view was amazing. I remember it was so sunny, right? No wind, nothing, clear sky. You could see as far as your eye can see, and it was amazing. Yeah.
But I want to go to the part where your wife and you are having the conversation. And if you think about how much you just said there, there's the financing the house.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of
but there's the decision that you made to go and rescue someone else, which puts you in danger, that potentially takes you away from your wife or family, that also then reduces the chances of you achieving what you're doing, which is why there's so much there. Take me to the moment where, because you're clearly a force for good with those values, but your wife's got to kind of almost agree and have a conversation with you that she's almost giving you almost permission to do this with the risks, if you know what I mean. I want to know how that conversation happens.
Think, when you are in the war and when the bullets are flying around, you don't ask your wife, "So can I go and rescue?" So you just go and do it.
And she knew who you were before she married you, right? Yeah, but I just wanted to...
We got married in a very young age, and the fact that, she saw me, how I trained to go and pass the selection for special forces. And even I say today, if people see my training every day, they will probably cry, they will probably bleed, Even I know myself, like, I cannot do that now. I was waking up, sometimes, okay, if I feel good, the distance from my house to Chatham, which is military barracks, is 20 kilometers. When I feel good, and I wake up at 4 a.m., and then I carry 75 to 80 pounds of load, and I run to the camp, from my house. Then I get to the camp, because I was doing a kind of, what we call it, a basic level of course. So you have to go and do some physical training before you go to the course. So I go there, I have a breakfast, then I do the physical training part of the military mandate. Then whole day, because I was building an structure finisher, it's a very cool name, but it's like plasterer, so a whole day of plastering the wall, taking down, it's full labor work, do that. In the evening, I don't carry the weight. I leave the weight at the barracks, and I run back to my house. That's another 20 kilometers. Okay. Then I have my food. Then I go to the gym. I cycle on this cycling machine. 65 kilometers every day, because you need strong legs. And then from there, I go to the swimming pool because I wanted to go to SBS. So I need to be a strong swimmer. So I do. You call that front call? Yeah.
Yep.
So I do that 100 times non-stop. And sometimes it would be like 10 p.m. Where the gym is closed, and I train like that for 6 months, 6 days a week. And sometimes, okay, like I wake up at 4, but if I feel tired, then I wake up at 3, because it's going to take longer. And I know tomorrow, because I have to be there on time, because it's a course. If you rock up late, the military going to punish you. So then sometimes I wake up even at 1 o'clock. Sometimes it would take me double the time, but I never said, "Today, my knees are hurting, my body is in painful, and then, or I want to sleep more." I never said, "Oh, there is ice outside," or, because it's slippery, it's cold, it's dark. I never made excuses. I committed every day, and that comes down to self-discipline and also a desire to represent the Gurkhas, because at this point, no Gurkhas had ever made into SBS. Special forces. So I was like, okay, if we are the best soldier in the planet, why we are not in the SBS? I need to do that. So my mind
becomes bigger than you again.
Yeah, it was bigger than me. It was bigger than everything else. And one thing to highlight is my command. They didn't give me the time to train. Normally, when you say you go into this kind of like selection, they give you 6 months off. Okay, but probably, I was questioning the authorities now and then. I'm a very straightforward person, and I used to say I'm here to serve, but not to be a servant. And then obviously some of the high command doesn't like that kind of things. To serve, I can give my life like this. This is me, but I'm not here to kind of do servant kind of job. So I think they didn't like that, and then so I wasn't given any time off, but I was entitled to by the but how all my guys who tried and failed many times, they all had 6 months off. But I had to do during my military parade, military time, military working hours. I had to do outside the working hours. So yeah, again, no excuses, no excuses.
What do you like with time off? You have, just going back to that relentless schedule then, and you're still busy now. When you're very much an entrepreneur coming in here with the challenges that come with that. Often can be quite lonely, because you've got really interesting dynamic where you are clearly a very natural leader, inspiring with that integrity and all the knowledge you've got, but you're also pioneering a lot of things, which comes back to Nims making the decisions. And where I'm going with that is there's the business side of things, but also that element of like, you're not climbing a mountain right now. And on days like this, can you chill? Can Nims sit and put his feet up and watch a film? Or are you thinking about the next thing and always working?
Okay, I can watch the film, okay? But I don't think I'm a chill, because my brain is always, is who I am, right? The biggest thing for people to understand is who you really are and accept that fact, okay? Look, yes, I think I'm now more entrepreneur than a world record-breaking climber, which I'm, I guide 11 months a year, but I respond to my team from 8,000 meters, where people can make thousands of excuses, not really, where people can make thousands of excuses, such as like, oh, I'm climbing, I have got, 30 people to lead, or you can say, oh, we don't have internet at 8,000 meters and all that. No, I respond to my team even when I'm climbing. I'm that person. So I even tell to my team that if I can respond from 8,000 meters while I'm guiding, while I'm leading the expeditions, and all my track record is 99.9% success with the safety, why you guys at the sea level, where if you are cold, you can turn the heating on, if you're warm, you can put the aircon on, and you have all this stuff, you press that button, there's a drinking water available, everything is there, and why is the complaint? But of course, not everybody is in the mindset. So of course, I have founded Elite Expert. We guide people on all the 14 highest mountains, 7 summits, South Pole and North Pole. But the important point here to note is, with us, now we have taken more than 100 plus people on the summit of Everest. But these people, when they first came us, they had never done anything. They literally started with us either on Kilimanjaro, so total novices. They started with us on Kilimanjaro or Aconcagua with me, and their journey started. So within 2 years of their 2 months time, within 2 years, more than 100 people have summited Everest with us. So this is what we do.
Yes.
And we are the subject matter expert of this one, and we enable other people who have no idea, or who doubt themselves. We enable them. And then sometimes it's very hard for me as a guide, people would be very slower. They cannot catch up in the same manners that I do. Sometimes it could be safety, but I have to dial down to their level to make them comfort. Even it's sometimes my ego could be hurt. It could hurt me, but I have to think, so I have to go to their level and then bring them up. Then my kind of the biggest happiness is when, boom, they summit and they're with me at the base camp. That's when I take the joy. That's when I take the pride. So I did that, and then of course, the second important element is I launched the clothing brand, which is really kind of focus on the outdoor environment, but also we do normal stuff as well. But the key is outdoor extreme environment where your life matters the most. We come with the clothing, that where it has the functionality and safety.
So it's technical.
It's technical. And that is the core of the business. But we, of course, in order to make the money, you also have to do high street fashion and all that. So we do that. And in this, the Nimsdai store, I'm involved from really scratch, from the designing of this stuff to getting out there, testing in terms of functionality and performance, So you will see loads of stuff. I'll be giving the feedback, while I'm going to Cam 1 or Cam 2 or Cam 3, always. And then now, when I summit, it doesn't excite me anymore because I've done, 50 to 8,000 meter summit. So I think I get more excitement when I design something and everything that's been tested, approved, and I got my final sample. Oh yes, guys, can we? That's my excitement. So
that's also the entrepreneurial bit I love. Because I was going to ask you, you've summited Everest, which is a lot of people's, maybe everybody's kind of ultimate, if you like, in contest. If you kept looking at what are the ultimate challenges, climbing Mount Everest is almost so that losing that dopamine hit from doing it, but having the reasons to build around it. And actually, I guess you'd almost call that influencer marketing, ahead of your time.
Yeah.
You're climbing mountains and you're in your
and
own.
also, if I have so much passion for building something, why not? Because it's already in my DNA. So if I'm helping other brands, why don't I build my own brand? And the other thing as well is now I'm connecting all the business that I have established. So I love skydiving. Okay, I used to jump when I was in Special Forces and all that. So what we created with Skydive Nimsdai is, if people want to jump on Everest with the view of Everest, Amadablam and all that, or jump anywhere in the world, 7 wonders of the world, Antarctica, whatever, we have the team that they do it. And now, of course, with that, with the expeditions, everything and all that, I managed to bought the helicopter company because for many reasons. Okay, one, to be self-sustained in order to do the business. And the reason why I had to buy the helicopter was, in 2021, we had a very high number of BVIPs client, really high end. And a lot of competitors got very jealous about it. And then I found out that they held a special meeting at the base camp with all these owners. And then, of course, the helicopter company, and then they said, okay, let's not give any helicopter flights to Nims, and how he can run the VIP business. When I found out that, it really hurt me. So then I say, you know what, I'm going to buy the helicopter company. That's one part of it. But also, second part is, I was involved in one of the critical rescue of Jim when his wife died on Manaslu, and the other company, where the helicopter company were almost trying to charge him 10 times the price. And I said in the face, guys, if you try to make the money out of this person whose wife has just died, stand by. So people don't like that when I'm so vocal about things, and I wanted to do things by the book. No fake rescues under my heli company, neither in Elite Expert. So when people climb with Elite Expert, I will give you a recent example. I had somebody else on Manaslu. They summited. They're coming down. Of course, you are tired and all that. I know they can come down to base camp walk, but they say, Nims, can I call the helicopter from Camp 3? For me, whoa, it's a good business, because I send my helicopter, I make 4 times the money, for my business. But ethically, no, as an expert leader, I want everybody to earn their respect. So I was on the radar. I said, look, if you want to bring the helicopter, it has to be rescue. And unless you tell me that you need a rescue, my guide is there, you are just tired, I can't allow that. Okay, and then we will do a check in the hospital. The hospital needs to be clearing and all that. And then I'm not going to sign your summit certificate, because it's you didn't went to the summit and come down to base camp. A summit is you walk from the base camp, you summit, and you come down to base camp, not like helicopter this and that. So it's all, I have the evidence of this. I filmed all this, So, but then when I kind of help them to make the decision, but when they come to base camp walking, then they take self-pride. Oh, yes, I could do this. I didn't cheat and all that. But of course, I'm sacrificing my business. So I do everything ethically. So now, and of course, the biggest part now here is the Nimsdai Foundation, which is, I think, this is the biggest thing and the most important thing. And this is who really I am. Yes, of course, I have achieved all the world records. I don't know, 16 plus Guinness World Records, all this business and all that, but
this proves your legacy, doesn't it?
But yeah, who I am, I'm a giver. So for example, in 2012, it's my first trip to Everest Base Camp. So I had a porter with us and all that, and we went to this village called Lobuche. So you trek from Feriche 6-7 hours, you go to Lobuche, and my porter were not allowed to stay there. Okay, they were not allowed to stay in the lodge because of who they are and all that. And for me, two things. And they didn't have a designated porter house or something to sleep. So for me, this is a humiliation, because you come from maybe a poor background or this and that and all that. So these guys had to go down to this village we came from, and they have to come next day to pick up the load and go to the final village, and that really hurt me. So again, going back into my basics way of thinking, when I joined the Gurkhas, we started with 500 pounds per month, and then when I, after the training, 1,000, whatever it is, by the time I finish the training and all that, but when I go in the war, that 1,000 pound or whatever doesn't justify me to give my life like that and fight for UK. No, but what it gives me, that is the respect the Gurkhas are getting, our legacy, right? So you could be probably the less honor. You could be the person who earns, so the English, who earns very less in this world, but you need respect, right? So that really touched me. So back now, for what, after being successful and all that, we just launched the project in Lobuche, which is above $500,000 project. So now they have this place where they would be respected. They have place to sleep. So I'm doing that things, and that's only one part of that.
You've affected a lot of change.
Yeah. Good. And then the second thing is, I'm not a billionaire or in that level. I can change the world, but I can change what I can change. So in terms of the big mountain and environment, like, look, I'm an outdoor person, so I love outdoor, right? So the foundation also does things like big mountain cleanup project, where if people are leaving the rubbish and all that, we clean that up, and it's a very expensive project because you still have to pay the Sherpas, the team, and all that. So it's super expensive, but we do that because it's not only about cleaning the mountain, but it's also about there's about 500 million life that depends upon on the mountains, the glaciers, and all that. It's a bigger impact.
Yeah. So
of course we've been doing multiple big mountain cleanup projects through the foundation, and the other one is as I said in my intro, I come from the military background, and it's a huge part of who I am. Unfortunately, all those friends that serve in the military, when they go in the operations or whatever, they don't come back home the same they left home. So I believe that a lot of this post-trauma stress and everything what they're going through can be recovered through adventure. So the foundation help the people to come on the expeditions and be part of this adventure. So
community as well, right?
To kind of help them recover, to reconnect and all that. So the foundation does that as well. And then the other angle is we also help in education. So if the Sherpa died on Everest and their kids are there, and no one is, of course, their father died, they are the bread owner of the family, and they don't have who's going to pay for the school and stuff. So we pay until they get up to year 12, which is like high school. So we send, obviously we cover all the expenses for them to do that. And the other one, which we'll go into this one, other one is we also do the disaster relief. So when there was a big flood in Pakistan, the whole of the mountain community, we support more than 10,000 people. And there was an old couple, and I always think this, so they had no children, and their house was, taken away. The blind people as well, they were blind, and I managed to build a house for them, and they always said, when I go to Pakistan, because I always go every year, they say, can we meet Nims and all that, but I'm on a very tight schedule, leading expedition and all that. I don't need to meet them and get what, I just say, they can just bless me from far away, and I can do that. So it has got so many angles. So when we went through the charity commission, they said, each of this angle is a charity itself. Who is this guy coming with all these 4 angles? Like, can he even handle it? No. And then they said, oh, it's Nimsdai Purja. And they said, oh, we cannot say it's impossible to this guy. So managed to register with all those pillars. So yeah.
Oh, your legacy. I mean, the fact that you're sitting there bright-eyed and still about to climb Everest again this year, and so much left in the tank. The amount you've already done, I mean, it's just a huge appreciation from me just to learn from you in this environment, let alone the amount of people that already know this and are benefiting from what you're doing. brought up ego earlier.
Yeah.
You brought up respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to frame that where it's very clear how important that is in terms of respect, honor,
Mm-hmm.
and how you manage your own ego. You just, because of this environment, you just told me what you do, but actually there's a very humble side to you where actually you'd much rather just do what you do and not necessarily be seen.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how those 100 summits that you've done with people that have come to you wanted to climb, there's going to be an ego there. There's going to be, I want to climb Everest. And how do you manage that? Because you've got incredible self-awareness. You have got a gut feeling. But there are people that would potentially come to you and you wouldn't necessarily want to climb with them. And
before I forget, there is, okay, how do I manage them? So people, when they come in, you could have the biggest ego in the earth, but the nature will put into perspective without doing anything.
The humbling.
Yeah, the nature is the biggest thing here. You know, you could be, who am I in this bigger scheme of things? I'm no one. I'm even tiny dust, and I'm no one. So if I don't know how to respect the nature, you're gone. And you know, you could be like, I have got people who are like triathlon champion, you know, the gym, all that, but they cannot even make it because of this kind of, you know, problem. So no one can beat the nature. No one. It doesn't matter who you are. You bring the biggest force. No, nobody. So the first thing is you start understanding that, you know. But we as a human, we have got enough intelligence to work around it, you know, and that's the very key. If you don't know how to adapt, and if you don't know how to work around it, and if your ego gets ahead of it, then you don't exist.
Because you have clearly got a mixture of relentless energy, but patience as well. Have you been really tested up the mountain with someone where you've really had to manage that?
Yeah, many times. And for me, it doesn't matter what individual's background is. Sometimes I have billionaires and I have millionaires and very successful people who comes and climb to me. And for me, my promise to them from day one is, I will take you to the top. I can ride with everybody else pretty much. I cannot say 100%, but 95% plus, maybe 99% I can go. I can take that. And if you sign up with me, you know, if you don't summit with me, I can give you full refund. I can say that. I'm 100%. And it's because that's my thing. I know my game. So for me, I have to of course know that individual, and no one is that stupid when it comes to life.
That's come back to the self-awareness piece. You need to make a judgment that that person is capable of it.
Yeah, and then when they come in, and of course they want to submit, whatever the ego and all that, but I have to make them understand what it takes. And of course, when you are at that environment, they do listen to you. You know, they will not listen to it unless until that point where they think they're power. But as soon as the elements and all that come in, then it makes you humble straight away.
It's a level playing field. It's life and death, right?
And then you kind of listen to a strong leadership who has got a track record of all these things, and who is performing when everybody cannot even move, and that gives you the leverage. So yeah, sometimes, you know, of course I had to, the word shout, so people take it. For me, Mr. Nice doesn't save life. You know, for that moment, if I have to be a bit, you know, I have to shout, or if I have to be a horrible person, I will say. But you know, what is important to you is me making things and making you listen, or making good, or you just die because of your thing, which is important, you know. So mountain is not about being super nice and just because he has paid, you know, hundreds of thousands. All it's about being factual, and when people don't know the fact, then that's where the problem is there. But you know, at the end of the day, I have to make it happen. So I would know what is required in order to enable that, you know, person. So yeah, it's
no, I find it fascinating because you will be dealing with, as you say, successful big egos, but there's such what a leveler when you're in a position where literally if they don't listen to you, it could affect your life, let alone very much their own. That must be a very humbling experience for someone that's achieved a lot of success, and they need to have their own self-awareness to listen, and you've got to gauge that quickly.
That one, and also there will be people who would massively don't believe in themselves. They're there, but they say, oh no, I cannot do this. Jesus, how, you know, a lot of them, actually, I get probably more of them than people who believe, you know. So then how you make them believe?
Do you see that developing as you go up the mountain?
Oh, yeah, of course.
But my point being, I guess, to start with, the confidence does that get whittled away with the lack of oxygen, with the fatigue, and so on, and then that brings out the natural leadership.
Yeah.
Sort of strength
So what
training.
I'm saying is, there, like when people are literally struggling to walk, I'm this guy, like I can run up these things, all this, So yeah, and my mind works from the special forces mentality. So I plan everything meticulously, the thing that even people haven't thought about it. For example, I'll give you this one. I was on this A mountain where I had a very high net worth individual. Okay. The mountain this season was super dry, so there's like so many rockfall. And then normally what they do is they put the clients on the device, and they get down to the anchor. Okay, but sometimes you cannot even fit the device because the rope is so tight, because it has been pulled down, so you cannot fit your device. So what you do is you just put your safety, and then you kind of hold the rope and you go down. So I'm already thinking ahead. It's like that slope, blue ice, you cannot even put your crampon. If I go all the way down to anchor, this person cannot hold. So I had to think ahead. So I stop in the middle, already preempting that this person cannot hold there. So when this person slipped, I have to be in the position to hold before the speed is gained. Because if you gain that speed with that velocity, you're gonna die. So obviously I went and I stopped at the middle, even my calf is burning, and I'm waiting to see if my anticipation is correct or not. Then yeah, client couldn't hold off, he started gaining the speed, everything, and I'm just like, now what I need to mass the force. So I'm bang, hold, and like client had blood everywhere and everything is shivering, and she start crying and panic attack. I said, hey, look, it's all good, but now this is not the time to think about what's happening. It's time to just get down, because the rock is coming every second. We survive this, we could be hit by rock and we could be dead, But you need to think way ahead. Nobody says this kind of things, because sometimes people disappear from mountains and all that, because you need to be that person with that level of experience, with that level of anticipate, to look many things in detail like this. And there's no one like that.
No, I mean, it's your self-awareness. It's almost like a match with a strategy, the chess game of this is going to happen because of experience.
You cannot train people like this. You cannot train unless they serve in the Gurkhas, then they go into special forces, do 10 years, and they have been planning and learning all that. No, you cannot just, you cannot train the IFMJ guy or anybody. Nobody, you can't train like this.
I mean, I've been telling countless people before we sit down together that I'm going to be talking to you, and the resilience piece, the mindset, that you probably get talked to a lot about, that leadership, that kind of unlimited beliefs. But I want to humanize the fact that when we walked in here and we were talking, you were like, that's kind of 10% of what you can turn it on in the mountain. God, you're probably, there's no one that can touch you in that moment. But real life, that again, mindset, resilience, and so on. That whole sort of humanizing the fact that there is an emotional Nims. There is someone that has challenges and struggles. Talk to me more about that. Where is that almost the sort of the bit where you almost need help with, if you like, and almost sort of vulnerability?
I think the biggest is, look, at the age of 18, I joined the Gurkhas. I have been taught how to be honest, integrity, honesty, and how to fight. And that even went into next level when I was in special forces. You trust people, and I think I trust people so much, and I have been let down in so many ways. Also, what people need to see is, when you go in the war, I'll give you an example. When you go in the war, you cannot just be, I'm going to be the nicest person here. You can't. You have to go with the full mindset of a warrior to win the battle. You cannot say, oh, this guy has a full of ego on that one. You can't. So people need to be first able to identify what that is. When I go on the mountain and I'm leading the packs and the wind is coming speed, I need to mass that environment, that everything there, right? And if I just say, okay, I'm just a nice guy here, I just want to line very soft, you're going to be killed, you're going to be destroyed. There is a time to be a very nice person, And there's time to be like where you believe that you are the God of all, you are the number one, because that's the only way you achieve that goal. If you go into the war and just you start, okay, you know, I'm going to be the nicest, I'm going to be like this, I'm humble, and how are you going to win the war? I'm going to say, I am the best soldier in this planet. I'm going to outrun everybody else. I'm going to be faster, quicker than every. That's the mindset you need to win that war. People need to understand this.
And that's transferable. You've taken, one of the things I was going to ask you is,
for bam, bam, and everything, you know, you need to, because you need to adapt.
which also means that you've already said there's no one else like you. That background of training, mindset that you've taken into what other people that climb mountains do sets you so apart, because when you need to turn that on, I mean, there's no one that
different level,
you, right?
It's a different level. And the other way, you know, what I say is, what I have realized is, God knows, you know, and I never knew that when it comes to money, people can be very evil. Okay, because I was never that rich. I never made that line. I never caught that threshold. So I know. So when one person came from nowhere, from literally humbling family, no business background. My father never did business. My mother never did business. My brothers never did business. So I came from literally nowhere, and I changed the whole guiding industry. Yeah. Not only that, I came into this clothing industry where I'm the face of it, and what I say, I have the integrity. I'm not just saying I'm making the best product just in words. I'm not a word man, you know, I'm an action man. I believe in my integrity. So I came with the product, you know, which could, you know, I have a faith it will go into billion-dollar industry because it's me. Then I came with the skydiving idea where people are not doing anything. You know, there was only one company who used to do that before. Now we came in, and we managed to be more successful because I jumped myself. Who wants to jump with someone who's doing the business from Kathmandu or UK or USA? They would jump with me, no? So that's my USP. So people then offset that business person. I bought the helicopter company. So then people say, oh, now he's going to take over the world and we need to get him down. So they even
Jealousy.
all this ganged up to bring one person down. They tried to break my record. They even sent the Sherpas to break nothing in terms of who I am, I'm who I am. And then, you know, they came with this disgusting stuff to bring me down, you know, which I don't want to talk about it. I think people probably know. People who know, they know, but this is the thing. You know, okay, let me get into that. One article come on a, let's say, Western media. People didn't even interview the witnesses who were there. 13 eyewitnesses. I have no court cases. I have no legal thing, but that media can literally take you down. They tried, and for the last 2 years, I have been through so much to fight that, to overcome this and all that. And when you see all this and you know the players that were involved behind this, because everything you're going to find out, some of them have already said sorry to me, but sorry doesn't bring anything back. You know, damage is done. If it was not me, people have probably suicide.
Considering all you do and all you've done, it's heartbreaking to hear that. Do you know the other thing is
crazy? It's crazy. I'm not a person. You know what? I don't care about the money. But I care about the success. If I do something, it's not about the money. I want that thing to be successful. That's what I'm driven by. You need to understand that. People don't understand that. And that, of course, that brings the money, but money is secondary, you know. I don't fool people. I don't scam people to make money. You know, people need to understand the core values and principle. And I think with everything now, it even becomes more apparent when it comes to money. People are happy to kill, you know, forget everything. So yeah, here we are. Guys, remember, you know, every day, to everyone who is watching this show, you wake up, and you remember that one day you will die. You will not be doing any evil things. One day you all have to die. So live in peace, guys.
Goes back to values and integrity and bringing up peace, your faith. So there's this immense strength that goes with NIMS. And what's interesting is, if I'd asked you what's the hardest thing you've done up the mountain, and there's probably all sorts of things that you could bring up that have been close to death, but the pain that you showed then, talking about the mistreatment. No, but you see what I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Your face then was pained to have to explain that people have wronged you, people have tried to bring you down. If I brought up something that was a proper challenge on the mountain, it would have been a very different face. It would have been nearly killing you, but you didn't die, but it was a different face.
Yeah.
Do you get where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Where does your faith sit with this?
I think I just have to do what is right, in all honesty. And you know, at the last breath of your life, you know that, okay, I have always been true to myself, and I have been honest, and I think you can die in peace. It's very important, when you are taking few last breath, and you go into back and all, and it's important for me. It's important, and you got to be who you are. And I was brought up by my mother, and my mother is probably the strongest woman that I probably ever know in this planet. And yeah, she was very smart. She didn't go to school, she didn't go to anywhere else, but part of who I am today is her credit, Yeah. So
Thank you for sharing
we
that.
just want to be nice, you just
No,
want
I
to be
know.
nice to people, but also you don't want to be weak. Because if you are nice people and you're weak, the evil will destroy you.
Where are you with the vulnerability that goes with this? Is a very vulnerable conversation from an incredibly strong man, strong mindset, let alone probably no one's stronger than you physically. But that vulnerability piece, the fact that you've shown so much willing to try and help people with PTSD, to try and help your people in any number of different ways. The way you articulated the fact that the Sherpas in 2012 had nowhere to stay. I'm going to go and do something about that. This part of NIMS is inspiring.
Yeah.
Do you get that feeling enough from people like myself and others, alongside the fact that you've obviously had to battle people that tried to bring you down? Because I hope you really feel you are an absolute inspiration.
I think there are so many good people in this world. There are. And without the existence of them, I would not have been able to come through all these things. And I wouldn't be where I am without their support. So that is a fact, and I acknowledge this. Now the other thing, I think in everything that I do and everything that has evolved me throughout the whole period of my life is, what do you really want to achieve in life? What is your mission statement? And my mission statement, I'm going to tell you what my mission statement is. My mission statement is to be fair on every people in this world. Doesn't matter where you come from, either you are white, black, Asian, whatever it is, because I know how it is to be on the other side of the road.
Which is empathy.
Everyone is who's looking, this interview and all that. Yeah, Nims says, don't think I'm against Western and all that. I'm never against them, because these are the people who brought me to this place. But I'm against racism. I'm against unfairness. Because for me, every decision I have made in my life is I have always put myself in that person's shoes. I have always done that, including the rescues to everything and all that. So it doesn't matter who you all are human. We all are human. So why you want to be unfair to people depending upon how they look, where they come from, their gender and all that? So my mission statement is to be fair on the people. That is my mission statement.
Yeah, there's a word for that for me, which is empathy. Why would you do something to someone that you wouldn't want happening to yourself? And there's not many people that live like that.
And I learned from the mountain.
Yeah.
Mountain never say which country you come from. Are you good looking? Are you ugly? Are you handsome? Are you strong? Are you disabled? No, it's pretty much neutral.
Yeah.
To everybody,
Yeah.
So I want to be neutral to people. Doesn't matter, I like them, I don't like them, or where they came from and all that. And it's very hard to do sometimes. And I really want to do that. I want to be fair on people. Doesn't matter where they came from.
So I want to bring our conversation before we close to what you're doing next. We're at the beginning of 2026.
Okay, so
I had a conversation last night with a friend of yours, Ant Middleton.
Yeah.
Who tells me he's climbing Everest with you.
Yeah.
So you're still on a mission to keep going. But just tell me what's ahead of you and what have you not done that you still want to achieve?
So I announced the project, Hat Trick Project, which is to climb all the 14 8,000-meter peak 3 times and all the 7 summits. That's like the highest mountain of each continent 3 times, with the aim to raise 1,100,000 something. It's the height of all those.
Okay, a total. Okay? Yeah, clever.
So I have got only 2 mountains left to complete that. So I have got G2 and Choyu. So only those two mountains left, and I'm nowhere near to achieve my goal in terms of fundraising for the foundation that has been doing amazing stuff. So that is my challenge. But breaking down, yes, of course, I'm leading the expedition from Everest North side, where Anne and his son are also joining me, and before that, I'm guiding on various mountains, and I guide 11 months a year. But hopefully towards the end of this year, I might have something big to announce. But we see, how we can pull through that. Yeah.
Is there a challenge that NIMS would come up with that would be seen as audacious, but that you could do? Because the 14 peaks was a challenge that you broke. It was a world record.
Yeah.
But you live in a world where you kind of create your own.
Yeah. So I kind of I led the first winter ascent of K2, and it is amazing. We are making the film about it, about the first winter ascent of K2,
Brilliant.
where the 10 Nepalese summited together and all. So anyway, that's one. But the second thing is, I'm not sure, maybe I announced my final retirement project in terms of my own professional mountaineering career. I'm going to be guiding because I love helping people to achieve their goal. This is what it gives me the kick.
Yes.
Someone who I have there, they don't even believe in themselves. They're like, oh, I can't. Then I get in there and I kind of train them physically, mentally, psychologically, all that. And then when they achieve that, they are surprised because of themselves. But then, of course, I was part of their journey. This is what it gets me. So I will continue guiding. But other than that, I want to be success in the business. Now, because I have started so many business, so I need to go full on.
Well, I'd love to help you with that. You made time to come and talk with me today. I had the pleasure of seeing you do a talk tomorrow, so I can't wait for that. Nims, you're a role model. That empathy piece, that vulnerability is strength is so inspiring to be around. So just massive
thank you, brother.
Nims.
Thank you. Lovely to see you.